Tony, when it comes to purchasing music on a platform like iTunes, why are we not allowed to use that in our video content creation?
Well, it's very simple, Cam. I think it all boils down to understanding that when you buy music on iTunes, the whole premise of it is you're just buying it for private pleasure, for your own private use, to listen in the car, to listen on your iPhone, to listen to it in basically the comfort of your home. And I think a lot of people misconstrue that when they buy music on iTunes or wherever they buy music, that they're getting an authorized copy of that music, and now they have a royalty-free license to just use it whenever and wherever. And it all boils down again to the point that when anybody makes a copyrighted work, whether it's music or artwork or photo, that copyright owner has rights that vest with them. And when you're talking about music, there are record labels and music publishers at play, and they have rights that they need to enforce. And one of those rights is that they have to make sure that if somebody wants to publicly perform their music in some public forum, that other parties seek a license from them in order to publicly perform it. The right will always vest with the record label and the music publisher. So think of it this way: if you bought iTunes music, that doesn't mean you're also buying a public performance license. You'd have to go to a different platform like an ASCAP, CSAC, BMI, a PRO, essentially a performance rights organization, and you would have to get a public performance license in order to be able to exhibit that type of music on those platforms. And I think that this question bears a lot of similarity to a fairly recent decision that went down a few years ago, Disney versus VidAngel, in which VidAngel, a streaming platform that relied on making films available, but with filters so you could cut out all the graphic scenes, drug use, anything of that sort. They had gone through the process of decrypting DVDs that they had bought in department stores, uploading them into their servers, creating filters based on time codes of where certain events happen in the film, and then uploaded it on the streaming platform and made it available to everybody. Well, Disney, Warner Brothers, Lucasfilm, 20th Century, they all went after VidAngel, alleging copyright infringement, and rightfully so. And
Right.
VidAngel had argued that there was a defense under the Family Movie Act of 2005 that would allow them to do this type of activity. Essentially, they thought that buying a DVD was an authorized copy that is carved into the Family Movie Act. And frankly, the court correctly ruled that buying a DVD or a Blu-ray does not mean you're buying an authorized copy.
Right.
Authorized copies mean you went straight to the film studio to get a license to be able to take that film and transform it with cleaner scenes, or cut out the graphic scenes, what have you. So I think that case is inherently tangential to this question here. Just because you bought a song off of iTunes, that doesn't mean you're getting the authorized copy. There are separate processes and steps that go into getting that type of permission in order to publicly perform it on social media, on live streams, wherever.
So it's incredibly important to make sure that you're remembering, if you are purchasing for 99 cents, for $3.99, for whatever it happens to be, a piece of music off of a platform like iTunes, you are not allowed to use it for anything other than your own personal entertainment in your own personal space. And for anything beyond that, you have to attain a certain license in order to be able to do that legally, which is why places like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube all have music libraries where artists and the copyright holders are putting music into those libraries that you are ethically allowed to use for a certain duration of time within the context of that platform. So if you have a song that you want to use in your content, get it from the music library inside of the social media platforms, because you're legally allowed to use those where you're not legally allowed to use things that you've purchased off of iTunes. Final thoughts on this?
If you actually, great point about that with the music libraries. Kind of an addendum to that, actually. If you're an influencer and you work on a branded partnership with a brand, be mindful of using commercial music as well, because if there's some type of advertising component to it that is commercial use, and therefore that would trigger the need to get a license from the music publisher and the label, aka getting a master use and synchronization agreement in order to use that music in that manner. And if you're a business that is making reels or TikToks and you're using commercial music, also be careful, because, for example, if your account on TikTok is branded as a business, you'll notice on the music library there's a little heading at the top that says this music library only contains music where there was a commercial license already secured. So that means that if you wanted to use other music that was not included in that library, you're going to have to go through the legwork of getting those licenses in place. So again, be wary of music, but essentially the best in the first place you should always start off with is those internal music libraries on these social media platforms. iTunes is not going to be your home and the go-to place for that type of thing. And very glad that you brought up about the 99-cent thing, because think to yourself, 99 cents to be able to publicly perform this music, too good to be true. So steer clear, folks.
Yeah. And if you need help finding music, we've got lots of videos on that. We'll link those down below. And if you've got questions, feel free to drop those at any point. And as always, you can go hang out with Tony on his TikTok and his Instagram at
The IP Professor.